gorgeous. Welcome to today's Big Brother 19 updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Kathy Thornburg. Thank you so much for watching and for your support. We appreciate it so much. And if you guys want to be house guest of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. We have so much to talk about. I'm like panicking right now because I want to make sure I deliver this all correctly. It is so much information. Alright, so just a quick recap. Last night, Cody was evicted by a vote of 7 to 3 to 0. A couple of shocking votes in there. There were 2 hinky votes for Ramses. I mean, yeah, he got 3 votes, but we know that one was from Jess, and that's just obvious. She's not going to vote Cody out. But 2 hinky ones. Kevin, who was asked to vote that way by Paul, and he said yes. And then Christmas, who freaking phoned it in from her hospital room. Hi, Julie. Yeah, crazy. Nobody told her to do that, and they're all just like, what the F? Okay, so we also learned there will be a battle back next week, which means that Cody, Jillian, Cameron, and the next evictee will be facing off to come back into the house. And Julie dropped a little bomb that the house guests are going to have the chance to stop their return. We didn't get any details on that, though, so I don't know how that's going to happen. Maybe it's tied into this week's temptation, because I don't think the voting on that closes until like Wednesday or something. So there's no temptation today as far as I know. So I don't know if it's part of that or what, but we'll find out, hopefully. So yesterday they started out the HOH endurance competition. It was the wall and the theme was Space Cadets. So everybody was still hanging on when the feeds came back. Excuse me. There was cold water, fog, this green gooey slime stuff being thrown at them, and of course the wall was tilting at like ridiculous angles, making it very difficult to hold on. And it doesn't help that like half the house is injured right now. Christmas is still freaking holding on to that phone in her hospital bed. She's not competing. Raven, her foot is injured, but she is competing. She can't put weight on that foot. And she's also still in need of some waterproof mascara. Someone please just let her borrow your mascara. Oh my god. But even with that injury, she was not the first one out. That honor goes to Josh. He fell at like 7:12 p.m. We so called that he was going to be the first one out, followed by the person we called the person we thought would be the second out. Mark. To be fair though, he was having a hard time with the grips because of his injured finger. Also, he's just such a big guy. He had no shot at this competition, but he fell less than 10 minutes after Josh. So now Paul's got people hanging out in his pit with him, so he's asking the Fallen about the votes for Ramses. So he's like, who do you think it was? Now we know that Paul knows that Kevin was one of the votes. He doesn't know for sure who the other one was, but he's also trying to stir up some drama here. He wants maximum paranoia. So Josh throws out Matt's name. We know that Josh does not like Matt, so he's like, yeah, I don't trust him. And then Paul's like, what about Christmas? Could be her. She talked to Cody right before she left for surgery. Maybe something stuck with her. I don't know. He's not happy about it. So then Raven dropped at 7:38 and she's like, I can't feel my feet when I'm with you. No, she said her foot was numb because of the injury. So Josh carried her off the mat and Raven was all, my bandages are soaked and I'm not supposed to get the stitches wet. I know she's like hurt, but she's like really freaking milking this thing with like people carrying her around all over the place and stuff. Whatever. Moving on. Ramses was down at 7:53, which means he lasted about an hour into the competition. Kevin was down 2 minutes later. He had a great time. He told Paul, my kid's gonna be laughing about this for weeks. Okay. And then it was really weird because we would hear Paul narrating things like long after they happened, and then I was like, oh, he's wearing an earpiece and they need audio from him. You know, this is him dropping lines for production, but it was just like really weird, but it was also cool to get a sneak peek into what that's all about. So then around this time in the competition, people started using the squatting technique, which we saw James use very effectively last season. Instead of hanging on like, you just squat down and you have a lower center of gravity. So it definitely was helping people out. And Paul announced, hey guys, I got a hunch that the first 4 people out are gonna be have-nots. We'll find out. It's also tricky too if that is what they're doing, because Christmas didn't even compete. Raven was one of the first ones out, but she said never have not. So I don't know if they would skip over her and pick somebody else, or if like she would still count, but she's just not going to be a have not. You know what I mean? So who knows? We'll find that out soon. I guess they'll probably be announcing have nots tomorrow. But then Matt fell off at 8:05 p.m. Honestly, I forgot he was even there. I'm sorry, but he's like just such a non-factor at this point. So then more people in the viewing gallery. Paul makes his way around, trying to figure out those votes, and we've got a new name thrown into the mix. Matt is saying maybe it was Jason. So that's who I thought Paul was trying to frame when he decided to have Kevin do that in the first place, because Jason was kind of in the crapper anyway, and I think this was going to be like that last nail in the coffin, but it's not working out that way. So then Jess was looking solid for a really long time. She was not moving at all, but then she was shivering a lot, and one of her eyelashes started coming off. Her fake eyelashes. That's so sad. That's not why she fell. She just slipped at 8:18, and then Dominique fell right after her. It's almost like she was waiting for her to fall, but maybe she just fell too. I don't know. So you could definitely tell, like, when the two of them fell, there was some freaking sighs of relief from the peanut gallery, because nobody wanted Jess to win this. She was like one of the big targets going into this week, and Dominique has been a little bit sketchy the past few days, so people were kind of nervous about her winning too. So once both of them were out, they were like, woo, okay. Alright, so then that means we're down to the final three. It was Jason, Alex, and Elena left up there. Time to make some deals? We'll see. Here's a good one. I'm so sorry. Okay. Jason was resisting negotiations at first. They were like, Jason, what are you offering? What's your deal? And he's like, you guys fall off, I'll be HOH. Clever. Okay, and then they all agree, like, yeah, whoever of us wins, we're not going to put each other up on the block. Alex throws out there she wants to use the HOH bathroom whenever she wants. She used much cruder terms, but it was pretty funny. So then Elena assures Jason, look, you're safe this week. Get out of here. So he falls off at 8:29. And then it's down to Alex and Elena. I think a lot of people were surprised that Elena was still up there, myself included. I did not think she was going to do well in this competition. So Alex swears to Elena, you're not my target. And Elena's like, sounds good. And she says she wants to make sure her people are protected. She doesn't name names in that moment, but they're like, we'll talk about it later. It's fine. So Alex agrees to it. And Elena jumps at 8:30, which means that Alex is the new HOH. So that competition lasted about an hour and 37 minutes, which I feel like is relatively short for the wall competition. I feel like usually it goes on a lot longer, but not this time. Alright, so after the competition, Alex went into the storage room to get her suitcase, and she lets us know she's about to make a really huge move. Please, 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 please. Please don't just be saying that. Oh my god. I gotta admit, I was really nervous about Alex winning HOH at first because I thought she was just gonna do what Paul wanted, and I wasn't feeling that. But I think she's gonna do something smart and at the same time exciting for us, potentially. So Alex is on the freaking hunt. She gets to work immediately. She wants to know who threw those hinky votes out there. So everybody knows that Jess was one of them because she's not going to vote to evict Cody, obvi. So in the future here, when I'm talking about the hinky votes and I only say 2, we're just going to assume that Jess was the third one because, yeah, duh. Okay, so Alex lets Ramsey know she's going to be going around asking everybody who they voted for one by one when she gets her HOH room. So Alex and Matt and later Raven were chatting in the Apple Lounge. I just have to get it out. Okay. I'm so sorry. It's hard work. They were chatting in the Apple Lounge. Let the freaking butt kissing begin. These people like never talk to Alex and now they're her best friends. So Alex says that she feels like somebody is definitely trying to pin this vote or one of these votes on Jason. But Jason swore on his kid's life that he voted out Cody and she believes him. I mean, those two are so tight. How could she not believe him? So then Alex is speculating maybe the votes could have come from like Christmas, Mark, and or Dominique. because, okay, we have reasons for everybody. Christmas. Before she left for her surgery, she mentioned possibly throwing in a hinky vote. They weren't sure if she was joking or what, but they're not happy about it. Mark, a little while earlier, busted in on a conversation that Alex was having, and he was like, am I safe? Am I safe? And then Dominique, she's been kind of on the outs with the group lately after her whole talk show drama, so people aren't too sure what she's doing. Alright, so then Alex is planting seeds with Matt and Raven. She's like, alright, I know everybody wants to get out Jess, but we might need to keep her this week and take out someone from our side. I want to know what this side consists of, because the way these people talk about it, it's like everybody in the house except for like Kevin, Jason, and Ramses, pretty much, and Jess. But other than that, they all think they're on the same side. It's wild. So she's like, I don't like all these vote flippers. We need to solve this problem right now. We need to nip this in the bud. So Matt and Raven are like, that's fair. We trust you. That was easy. So freaking Matt volunteers to go up on the block next to Jess. Why are you here? I wish Alex would put Matt up on the block and he would just go home. That would be amazing. Okay, so then, sorry, I'm not sorry. Paul, Mark, and Dominique were talking about the vote. They figure Jess definitely, and then they're thinking Christmas probably because of what she said. And then Dominique thinks maybe Jason was the third one. Keep in mind, Paul knows that it was Kevin, and he is in this conversation. But he's like, yeah, maybe. But then Mark is like, no, I don't think it was Jason. He was very adamant that he did not do it, and I trust him. So then Mark is like, maybe it was Kevin. And Paul's like, no, I don't think it was Kevin, because he wouldn't F me over like that. No way. So then Mark is like, well, I heard that Josh told Jason that he wants to go after the big guys like me, so maybe it was Josh. Okay, so then Paul reveals, that sounds like Paul Revere, Paul reveals to Mark and Dominique that Cody was dropping his names before he left the house. He was saying that they were the two people he was referring to about being involved with his plan last week to go for Paul and then Christmas. So Paul is like, no, I don't believe this, but I'm just letting you guys know, and I didn't want to tell you before the vote because I didn't want you to get all like panicky and freak out. So now this is out on the table, and it's going to be causing a lot of drama this week. Mark and Dominique's names are being thrown out a ton, and I think it's going to be a really, really exciting week. Alright, so then Alex and Jason were discussing possible nominations in the living room, and Jason wants her to go freaking wild. He's like, yo, just put up Matt and Dominique, let's get this thing going. So Alex is like, no. She is very adamant that Jessica has to go up because everybody wants that, and she would be in a lot of trouble if she didn't put her up, but they can potentially backdoor somebody else. Jason really doesn't want Jess to go up on the block. He doesn't want to give the other side what they want. So Alex is like, listen up, bucko. I'm trying to save your ass, because if I do something crazy this week, keep in mind that I can't play for HOH. And if you don't win, we're both going to be up on that block, and one of us is going to be going home. So Alex is saying, I've got a plan. We need to freaking infiltrate this big group with the showmances and stuff. And she's working on convincing them that they have a rat in their group, and then they're going to use that to get rid of one of the big group's numbers this week, but not have them be mad at them, you know what I'm saying? So Alex is like, we're going to attack them later, it's all going to be fine, just freaking trust me. So Jason's like, okay, I get it, but I don't like it. But I get it. Okay, so that doesn't mean he's going to stop trying to convince Alex to do what he wants. So then Jason and Jessica were chatting in the have not room, and Kevin was in there for a little while too, and Jason's like, I want to let you know, the whole house is pressuring Alex to put you up on the block. And I told her, go F them, who cares? But she feels like she has to do it. So Jess is like, well, that's a waste of an HOH. I mean, obviously she's going to say that getting rid of her is a waste of an HOH. But I mean, it really is at this point, because she's got nobody right now, you know? Go after somebody else. So Jess is then saying the safest people in the house right now are Paul, Mark, Elena, Dominique, and Raven. Because those people are all protecting each other. And Jess is saying if she stays, she's not going after them. Them meaning Jason, like Kevin and Alex and all them. She wants to go after the people who betrayed her and Cody. Meaning like Mark, Elena, Matt, Raven, all of them. Wouldn't that be freaking crazy and exciting? So then Jason, oh my god, he comes up with like the most ridiculous thing right here. He's like, do you know where Alex's glasses are? Because she can't find them and she thinks that you took them. So Jess is like, no, I didn't take her glasses. She probably just misplaced them or something, or like left them outside and production has them. So Jason's like, well, if we can find her glasses and we give them to her, even if you weren't the one that took them, but if you give them back to her, maybe she'll trust you. Oh my god. It's like when somebody comes over and your dogs are going all crazy and you give that person a treat to give to the dogs so that they'll be like, oh, this is a friend. It's so ridiculous. But anyway, Jason is again trying to convince Alex to keep Jess off the block. And Alex is like, no, man, we can't be doing anything all crazy right now. You gotta relax. So Jason lets her know that Jess did not hide her glasses. And he also says that Jess was not the one who hid her cat ears. You know that headband that she wears all the time? That's another thing they talked about, but I'm mentioning it here. So Jess told Jason that Raven was the one that did that. So Jason shares that with Alex, and she's just like, what? I don't know about that. So he says that Raven has also been pouring out her soda. That's a real, you know, that's a real, what's the word I'm looking for? Delicate subject for Alex. Don't mess with her freaking Coca-Cola. So then, Jason says maybe it was Christmas and Raven who were the hinky votes. We don't know. So Alex is like, yeah, I don't know if we can trust that information because it was coming from Jess. She is nasty and untrustworthy. So you gotta take everything that she says with a grain of salt. Alright, so then Kevin, Jason, and Ramses were talking while Alex was in the DR, and they've got some really big plans for this week for Alex's HOH. They think that they could have the numbers with all of them, Paul, Christmas, and the Blob, aka Josh, to take out a big player from the other side. So they're debating like who they actually have this week. They're not sure about the Blob, but I don't know. Kevin is convinced that he can pull him over. So then Kevin is saying on the other side, Matt and Mark are their biggest threats when it comes to winning HOH. Unless it's a competition to see who can put on makeup for the longest amount of time. That Kevin Schluber was on fire last night, right? Okay, so they say that they're going to work on convincing Alex more once she gets her HOH room. And what do you know? It's time for Alex's HOH room reveal. This didn't happen until after 1 a.m. last night. It was nuts. So she got snacks. She got Coke in glass bottles. She got new rosary beads. Mom just went like this. She got pictures of her family. She was really, really loving the picture of her with her nephew. Her music was Meghan Trainor. She got sushi, a letter from Mom and Dad. That's great. Let's get back to the game because there's a shit ton going on. So Elena hangs back to talk to Alex in the HOH room, and Alex is just like, what's up? What are you thinking this week? And Elena's like, well, I want to protect the people that I want to go to jury with. Again, at this point, she does not really name names. I think later on she says like herself, obviously, Mark, Raven, and Matt and Paul. That's a lot of people to be demanding protection for, but whatever. So she asked Alex, do you have a target in mind? Are you thinking Jessica? And Alex is like, I do want Jess out, but I'm more concerned with whoever flipped their vote last week because that's not okay. So here's Alex trying to push again that there is a rat in that big group. So Elena's like, yeah, that is a concern. Who do you think it was? You're thinking Christmas? And Alex is like, we're going to need to figure that out. It's kind of difficult right now when Christmas is out of the house. They can't ask her about it. And today, a lot of people were complaining, especially Paul, how unfair it is that Christmas is outside of the house for such a long time now. Because she was supposed to come back on Thursday, but she's still not back in the house yet. So people are pissed about that. But then Alex is saying, like, yeah, we need to ask her about it when she comes back. We need to figure it out. So Elena's saying, wow, how crappy is that if Christmas didn't vote with us when she can't even contribute to the team in competitions? So, like, why is she even in our group? She can't do anything for us. She can't even freaking vote with us. So then Elena brings up that Kevin may have been one of the votes too, but even if that is true, they say that they wouldn't be as upset about that because he's not in the group. Again, what is this freaking group? But Christmas is, and she was supposed to vote with them, and she potentially did not. So Elena says she's on the same page as Alex. She trusts her, blah, blah, blah. All right. So then Paul joins Alex and Elena in the HOH room, and Alex is like, all right, here's what's up. Jess is probably going on the block, but I haven't decided yet who's going to be up there next to her. So Paul tries to push that Ramsey's agenda. He's still holding on to that, and Alex is like, nope, I'm more concerned about those hinky votes. So Paul, oh my god, he's still trying the Ramsey's thing. He's like, well, what if Ramsey's was in on it? Maybe he asked people to vote for him to cause chaos. That is like one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. So he sees that Alex is not picking up what he's putting down, so he just leaves that behind. So then Alex is saying Christmas, Dominique, and Mark are all red flags right now. It could be one of them going up on the block against Jess. So then Alex and Paul are alone, and they were talking a lot about the sketchiness of Mark and Dominique lately. They've got an interesting relationship here. They're kind of on the outs with the rest of the group. So Paul is saying that Matt and Raven would be on board for one of those two to go. Is that for real though? I mean, I could see them potentially voting out Dominique, but I don't know about Mark. So then Paul encourages Alex to put up Dominique. He's still really pissed about the whole talk show thing with Dominique. And then they say, yeah, if Dominique gets POV, you can put up Mark. What? Okay, so Alex lets Jason in on the plan. She says that her target is Dominique. Mark would be the backup plan. And she's saying, like, yeah, Paul will support us on this. We can pull it off. Jason's like, all right. And Alex is saying we need to keep Paul around for a long time because he's going to protect us. You really don't, but we'll just leave that there for right now. So then Alex is talking to Mark. They're in the Apple Lounge, and she's freaking lying to him. She says that Jess is her target this week. Obviously, she's not going to tell him that she's going after Dominique, right? Because they're like this. So Mark is promising safety for Alex and Jason next week if he wins HOH. Let's see how he feels about that next week. Okay, so then Paul and Elena were chatting about the status of their group. This was super interesting and also super late last night, or early this morning. So Paul was saying, look, this group is going to crumble very soon. Dominique and Mark's names are being thrown around a lot. You need to be careful because you're in this showmance with Mark and you don't want to be associated with that. And even if you don't think that you are, you are. So Elena's like, I'm going to tell you something right now. I trust you more than I trust Mark. She also says if Mark was one of these votes and he's like lying to them, she will send him home if she has to, like on her own HOH. Damn, girl! So Paul is saying if Mark and Dominique are going to keep bringing this heat onto the group, he's going to have to jump ship because he's the only vet in the house, and if people are going to target their group, he's got the shiny vet whatever crown on, and he's going to be like one of the first targets. So he's like, nah, I'm going to have to get out of here. And Elena says, what if I abandon ship with you? Oh, shit! Okay, so then, right before, well, not right before, but before she went to bed last night, Alex confirmed in the HOH when she was by herself, she is in fact targeting Dominique this week. Oh my goodness. Okay, so today, Alex is nonstop talking to a lot of people again. She talked to Raven and Matt separately, and she said the person I'm putting up next to Jess may not have been one of the hinky votes. We don't know for sure, but this person has been stirring the pot anyway, so whatevs. And then instead of Matt as the potential replacement nominee, it has now changed to Christmas. She doesn't want to put Christmas up on the block right away because she's not even there to defend herself, which again is like not really fair. But yeah, she's saying she could be a potential replacement nominee instead of Mark. So then she talked to Dominique. Dominique swears that she voted for Cody to go. she's saying, Alex, go with your gut, you know, it's all good. But Dominique is also saying she feels like somebody in their group is trying to, you know, frame her for this vote and just like kind of screw up her game. So she knows something's going on. She can feel that something's not right. And Alex talked to Josh, and she was like, listen, Josh, I am putting Jess up on the block, but don't freaking vote her out because there's something bigger happening here. Don't blow it. And in other news, the vetoed punishment is over. So Jess and, what's his face, Jason can wear normal clothes again. So good for them. Okay, like I said earlier, I'm pretty sure they're not doing Den of Temptation today, but they should be having nominations later. Right now, it looks like they will be Jess and Dominique, unless something crazy happens, but you guys should check back later. I will post the nominees in the info for this spoiler. That was a lot. So, we'll pick it up there tomorrow, and until then, much love.